As advisors and financial planners, we believe it's our job to help clients align their values and goals and then create a plan to allocate and bucket cash by goal so they can achieve them. So today I'm going to be interviewing James Moyer, one of the wealth managers here at SDWMA. So I think one of the first steps in creating a financial plan is really getting to know our clients. What are their values, their interests, their goals, their lifestyles? Can you talk a little bit more about how we spend time getting to know our clients and collect this type of qualitative data and why?
Yeah, I think for us, at the end of the day, if we know our clients better than they know themselves, we can make the best financial recommendations for them. And that takes time. I mean, going to dinner with our clients, having lunch with them, learning about their family, maybe going to their house for a meeting and seeing their kids if they have kids. It's very important that we know that, because oftentimes our clients don't know what they want until we kind of poke and prod and find a little bit more about them and start to pull things out for them. And that can really just, help the relationship, drastically.
Some people don't have any idea of what, they want to do in retirement, or, they don't have clearly articulated goals, but other people, come in with very clear goals about how they want to spend their money. For those that maybe need assistance in coming up with those goals, or even those that have them, but they just need help laying out the plan for how to get there. What are some ways that we help do this through financial planning?
Yeah, I think first, getting an understanding of what they want, what they need. We should already know what they have, because that should have came out on the front end when we first started working with them, and really just kind of putting it on paper. I say on paper, really we use a computer for all this analysis now, but really putting a financial plan together so they can visualize it. We'll put in, if they want to spend $20,000 a year on travel, looking at that in the plan and seeing what cash flows they have at that specific time in their life. I think it can really be helpful for them, and they can see if it's, a pipe dream or if it's reality.
But it's a lot easier to achieve something if you can see it.
Yes.
and the implications of it.
Absolutely.
So once we define these major goals, how do we typically help people bucket their cash or investments to save for these big expenses?
It's really just simple time value of money calculations, figuring out the time horizon for when they're going to need the money, assuming a conservative rate of return, because we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver when the time comes, and really just figuring out which asset would be best for them to use at that specific time, and projecting it over time so they can see what it is. I think, it's different for everybody, but I'll just throw an example out there. I'm sitting with a client and they just retired, and they told me, I think we want to buy a vacation house now. That might be a little too late. But if we have that conversation 5 years prior to retirement, we can discuss, we can formulate a plan where they should be saving that money. Maybe they shouldn't be saving as much in their retirement accounts. Maybe it makes sense to put it in a taxable brokerage account. And then how are you going to invest that? If it's within 5 years, you might not want to be overly aggressive, because you can't really afford to lose a whole lot. So having those conversations and helping them come up with the best strategy to accomplish the goal, I think is huge.
So there are often large spending goals that I think people tend to forget about. A big one we see is buying new cars, especially in retirement, maybe paying for kids' weddings. I know I've seen that one forgotten a lot. And even, some people might want to fund like a grandchild's education in the future. So what are some other big spends that we find that people tend to forget to put on their plan?
No, this is a great question. And I think, as experienced financial planners, we can bring this is a huge benefit we can bring to the relationship. I had a client actually recently talk about buying a new house in Florida, and he understood the cost to buy it, but one thing he was not thinking about is the maintenance cost. It really helped that I had sat down with a client probably a month before that client, and we updated their financial plan, and it just turned out that client had a second house in Florida. He already had the expenses figured out for the Florida house. So it was really easy for me to just use that expense number for the new client and bring that, to their financial plan. I would say that, that's a common one, expenses for a second home.
Well, thank you, James. I appreciate you spending time with me here to go through this, and I thank our audience for watching. I hope to see you next month.